The White House has been deep in diplomacy, trying to stop the Russians from invading Ukraine. We may have just received a bit of an idea of how well the president thinks that diplomacy has gone. Because in his news conference, President Biden said today he believes that the Russian President Vladimir Putin will move into Ukraine.
My guess is he will move in. He has to do something.
He has to do something. The president later said he's not sure whether President Putin has made up his mind on the whole thing, but that the United States is ready to enact a heavy price if it happens. And then President Biden suggested it depends on what kind of invasion.
It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, et cetera. But if they actually do what they're capable of doing with the force amassed on the border, it is going to be a disaster for Russia if they further invade Ukraine, and that our allies and partners are ready to impose severe cost and significant harm on Russia and the Russian economy.
So a minor incursion would be all right? Was that an okay for something little? The White House is already backtracking or clarifying in White House parlance. I'll read a statement momentarily. But a spokesperson for the National Security Council said very quickly after that happened, in short, there is a difference between a military invasion and a cyber attack. But of course, that's not at all what the president had just said. CNN's Matthew Chance reported last hour a Ukrainian official told him he is shocked that President Biden would distinguish between an incursion and invasion. Chance reports the official added, that gives the green light to Putin to enter Ukraine at his pleasure. Secretary of State Tony Blinken held the hard line when he met today with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv. Secretary Blinken cautioned that Russia could launch a new attack on Ukraine at a very short notice. He also accused Russia of planning to reinforce the more than 100,000 troops it has already deployed along the Ukrainian border. Today, Russia's military sent more troops into Belarus for joint drills. This video shows Russian armored cars driving off a cargo train. Secretary Blinken's visit to Ukraine comes 2 days before his high-stakes meeting with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Geneva. Michael O'Hanlon now, senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. Michael, as always, thank you. President Biden said he believes Putin will move in. He's got to do something, as the president put it. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I disagree with that, Shepard. I don't think we have any real reading on Putin. In fact, President Biden himself seemed to acknowledge that later when he said, I don't think Putin's made up his own mind. But coming on the aftermath
But he said
of
he's got to do something.
Exactly. So the got to do something. I'm not sure what he means. Does he somehow sympathize with Putin's position, even though this is a crisis of Putin's making? So, no, I don't think he has to do anything. I think a lot of what he's trying to do, Putin, is to generate this crisis and this attention. Now, it's a very dangerous game, even if he has no intention of invasion, because he is just strengthening the Western resolve to punish him. On the other hand, he is changing the conversation. And he probably feels we've been in this half-pregnant state of promising Ukraine NATO membership now for 14 years. It's time to resolve it and get people in the West to think that there has to be a different kind of option than to bring Ukraine into the Western alliance system. I'm not sure he's going to achieve that result, but he's clearly trying to force the issue. I think psychology and intimidation work for him better than an outright invasion, especially in the middle of the winter, especially against a rebuilt Ukrainian military that probably has comparable strength to those 100,000 Russian troops, which is a big country. I don't think that Russia is going to have any kind of a cakewalk if they invade.
But Michael, on the other matter, did we get of a bit of an accidental truth from the presidential podium, like take a land bridge to Crimea, but don't take the capital? The White House is backing down from that and reframing. Here's a statement that they just put out and we've received. President Biden has been clear with the Russian president, if any Russian military forces move across the Ukrainian border, that's a renewed invasion, and it will meet with a severe, swift, united response from the United States and our allies. It goes on to explain there's, a cyber attack would be one thing, but if they move troops in, it's another there. But is the damage done? I mean, he had been talking this hard line, don't do it, don't do it. It was sort of like we did before they went in and took Crimea. Now
Right.
he'd love to have a land bridge to Crimea. I mean,
I think he both said too much and too little, Shepard. He really shouldn't be sort of pontificating or thinking out loud about the various kinds of responses that we would have to various kinds of Russian aggressions. But if he's going to go down that road, which he shouldn't have, but if he's going to, what he should make clear is even that small incursion is going to meet with very, very strong response. But if Russia tries to slice Ukraine in half, then we're going to do things like try to end Western Europe's dependence on Russian energy, even though it's going to take us some time and cost us some more money. If you want to get into that level of detail, in other words, promise even bigger punishment for Russia in the event of a major invasion, but keep the serious sanctions in place even for a small one, maybe you can make sense out of that statement. But I feel like the president, he was just thinking out loud a little too much. I think he'll be able to walk it back. I think they'll be able to clarify that even a small incursion is a big deal and will meet with a strong response. But he didn't do himself any favors today.
Michael O'Hanlon, good to talk to you. Thank you.